This is Dr. Ed Two Rose with the Focus Life Institute. Today I want to talk to you about staying focused in an age of distraction. Now, I can tell you this, as a focus coach, I deal with a lot of people every day that are really unfocused and not fulfilling the dreams, fulfilling the assignment that is a calling upon their life. Now, each of us has a calling and assignment. You might not think you do, but you really do. You know, before the foundation of the earth, the Bible says in Ephesians chapter 1 that God knew you. In Ephesians 2:10, he says that he has prepared for you those good works in advance. They're already out there, but somebody needs to go after them and be able to understand these good works are prepared for you to go out and do them. You got to be a doer of the word. But in this age of distraction, really it's hard sometimes with all the extracurricular activities you and your family have, might be working two jobs, all the things going on in the world. There's a lot of distractions, and it leads to a lack of intimacy with God, number one. And number two, it keeps us unfocused and distracted on what's really concerning in life is fulfilling your purpose and destiny and having that personal fulfillment. Now, I'm all about families right now. I'm always all about generational transformation. And so as you are a parent right now or a grandparent, you see some things in your grandchildren. What can you do to be able to do some TLC, some time, some love, and commitment into the lives of your children or grandchildren? I have 3 grandchildren right now, all playing basketball, 15, 13, and 10 years old. And in this basketball season, which just concluded at this time of this videotape, I was there 2-3 nights a week cheering on my grandchildren. During the summer, I'm out there playing basketball with them and showing them some techniques and just helping them along with their father and their mother to be able to, even their grandmother, helping them understand how important it is to be part of a team, but also that is part of their destiny. Being involved in getting into sports and seeing some great aspects of winning and losing, the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory. And I tell you what, it's just an awesome time with time, love, and commitment that you put into your families. But we've got to help our young people stay focused. There are so many distractions out there. We got to make sure that we understand that in this day and this hour, if you want to raise young people right now to be positive change agents in society, that you're going to have to understand it's going to take that time, love, and commitment to be part of that. And that's what's so important right now in this day and age with all the distractions. It seems to me right now that even the school systems are not teaching your child right now the skills they need for success. And so what can you do as a parent or grandparent to be able to help your child get the skills they need? Because if you look at recent statistics, LinkedIn's been saying that for about many years here, that young people graduating out of high school or college, they lack the essential employable soft skills: communication, collaboration, conflict resolution, decision-making, problem-solving, time management. These things that are available through Focus Life Institute. But I'm talking to you as parents today or grandparents. What can you do to help your children and your grandchildren get focused on their future? It's amazing how time goes so fast. I'll be 70 years old this year, and I can't believe I'll be 70. And just last year did my 50th high school reunion. But I tell you what, I see a lot of older people who maybe at this point retired, and they're going down to Florida or Arizona, and they have great wisdom and great experience, but they won't share that with the next generation. That's why I created the Focus Life Institute right after I retired, after 37 years in Fortune 100, 10 with Unilever, one of the largest packaged goods company in the world as a manager, and 27 years as a manager and trainer with the Coca-Cola Company, where I would go around, not only had my territory, go out and train individuals how to get focused, how to adapt, blend, and connect with different personality styles so that you can get to the place where you will increase and advance within an organization. And I've written many books, the Hero's Principle, which is very powerful. When was the last time you sat down with your children and started talking about honor? We live in an age of dishonor. And I've written 3 books called The Hero's Principle, The Hero's Effect, and Be a Hero. And the Hero's Principle, the acronym is H for honor. When was the last time you sat down and you start talking about your children or grandchildren, how to be honorable to people? Man, if you were just looking on TV or on society today, we live in a dishonorable society. Everybody's dishonored somebody right now, and you're seeing it. But I'll tell you what, I made a decision in my life, and my children, my grandchildren, we're going to walk in honor. So when I see one of my children, my grandchildren walking in dishonor, or if my wife sees me or I see her or other people we know walk in dishonor, I'm going to have to challenge that because we have to know that honor is so powerful. When you honor somebody right now, it's the greatest thing you can do. You are looking at who they are, not what they do. And one of the greatest aspects is honor. E stands for excellence in the hero's opportunity. When was the last time you start talking about doing things with excellence? You cut the grass, right? You ever make sure you cut the grass right? Did you do the trim? Did you rake? Did you do specific things? I have my grandchildren come over and they help me out cutting the yard or washing the car or whatever. Do they do a good job? Or are they just average? Listen, as a manager in Fortune 100, I was never going to hire anybody who were average. And if you were average in the organization that I was involved with and in my team, I ran a $75 million territories, about 6 different markets. I had multiple people, hundreds of people working for me. And if I saw somebody that was average, you were out the door. And guess what? That's the way it is in society today. If you want to get into the workplace and move your way up, you got to walk in honor. You got to honor those people above you. You got to honor your peers. You have to know how to adapt, blend, and connect your personality style with others. But you got to walk in excellence. Now, the R in the HEROES principle stands for responsibility. We live in an age of entitlement. You owe me something. Oh, yeah? We owe you something? And you didn't work your way up? And I'm finally glad to see that some things are changing in our government right now to eliminate based on who you are, on your on race, based on who you are, based on your nationality, whatever I need. And you're going to be able to move up an organization when you might not prove the fact and you're doing an average job. You're not doing things with excellence and you're not taking personal responsibility. This entitlement spirit has to go, because it's a bad spirit. And right now, if your children or grandchildren operate in that, you need to negate that right away. You need to negate dishonor. You need to negate average. You need to negate right now entitlement. Now, HER, honor, excellent, responsibility. O stands for order. Boy, do we lack just an outplace of nobody submitting to anybody in society today. My bosses, when they knew they worked with me, I would submit myself to them. You know why I did that? Because there's a principle in the Bible talking about sowing and reaping. And so if I am going to, at this point, submit myself to my boss and my peers, and I've had many good bosses, and I've had the good, the bad, and the ugly in bosses over my 37-year career. But no matter who they were, I submitted to them. And when I did that, guess what? When I got promoted into management, 2 years into Lever Brothers, Unilever, I got promoted into management. And when I worked at Coca-Cola Company, I was a manager. Guess what? I reaped. I reaped good people submitted to me because I submitted to them. You will reap what you sow. So you better understand how important it is when you go to work to go in there and be in order to those people above you. Because one day you might be promoted and you want to make sure that you serve them so that people coming under you will serve you. It's that principle of sowing and reaping. And then we look at the other situation right now, the HEROES principle of E for expectation. Do you drag yourself into work or into school? You better look at your kids. If they're dragging themselves into school or work and they're not going in there with a positive attitude of expectation right now in an age of pessimism, I'll tell you what, you got to change that attitude. They need an attitude adjustment. And you do that with some tender, loving care, right? Some TLC, some time, some love, and some commitment in their life, and showing them what to do instead of telling them what not to do. You know, we live in a society right now, and this is why I was careful with my children. I'm not going to tell them not what to do. I'm going to tell them what to do. I'm going to say, quit saying no. Show them this is why you have to honor. This is the why you have to do things with excellence. This is the why you have to do things right now with personal responsibility. This is why you have to be in order. This is why you have to walk in every day in the school. Be expectation. Be the first one to raise your hand. Be the first one to volunteer. When I worked for the Coca-Cola Company, my boss would say, "Hey, Ed, we're having a tough year, a month this month. I need you in the meeting coming in next week with expectation." See, I was the person who would walk in that arena and I would change the atmosphere. See, when you come in with honor and expectation and servanthood and all these different things we talk about, you have the ability to eliminate strife, which is a bad thing in any type of life, in a family life or also in the work or school life, and come in with expectation, come in right now with an opportunity right now to change the atmosphere, change the environment. You are going to see some positive things happen to you because you did that. And so I would go in there, and I served my boss. I know he liked 2 bottles of Dasani cold water. I'd do that one time, and somebody said, "What are you doing, Two Rose? Why are you doing that to your boss?" Because you don't get what it means to be a servant. And that's the last thing, not the expectation, now servanthood in an age of individualism, okay? Everybody's saying, look at me, look at me. Here's my selfies. Look at me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, whatever it might be. But I'm telling you right now, there's an individualism type of spirit, independent spirit out there versus serving your way up. See, when I worked for Coca-Cola, I served my way up to where people would trust me. I served my customers no matter what happened, and they trusted me. My boss would allow me to come in and talk about Jesus. My boss and I would pray before we went into the organizations. And, I'm talking about a major corporation here, And we did it because we talked to them and asked if this was okay. And they agreed. And we would go in there. We saw great favor because we operated in honor to our peers, to our customers, to our teachers, wherever it might be. We walked in excellence. We did our homework right. We did our business right. We crossed our T's, dotted our I's. We did things with integrity. We took personal responsibility for our actions. If we messed up, we told people that we messed up and we made it right. We were in order to submit it to those individuals that were above us. And guess what? We walked in expectation and we served our way up. What an opportunity right now for you and your family and your grandchildren and your children to be able to sit down with them sometime and reflect on what you did that worked and didn't work. When I worked for Coca-Cola, at the end of every year, we'd sit down and say, what were the key learnings that you had this past year? Well, we did this, and that's not going to work. Well, there are some things in your family right now, some things in your children and grandchildren that that are affecting them and aren't working correctly. So what are you going to do as a parent or a grandparent to show some TLC, to show some time, some love and commitment, to sit down with them, reflect on what they're doing, help them through the process? I was just talking to my 15-year-old grandson, almost 15 and a half, and we were coming back from church the other day. We were talking about some things that he's struggling with at 15 years old. Now, I remember when I was 15, 16, I struggled with the same things he's struggling with right now. And I told him, here's what you need to do, son. Here are some scriptures you need to stand on. Here's some things you need to do to be able to get your life back in order and be able to see that. And he started working on these things, and great favor and great peace and great opportunities came to him because I spent some time with him, and so did his father and his mother and his grandmother. But as a grandparent, I had that time alone to spend some time with them. I began to reflect on some things that I went through and says, you don't need to do that. This is where you got to keep your focus. And so as we talk today about what you can do and stay focused in this age of distraction, how can you sow your time, your energy, your effort, your talents into your children, your grandchildren? Maybe there's somebody locally right now, some people that you know in your church or in an organization that just need that stroke on the back, just need to be taken out to a dinner or a lunch and talk to them about what you can do to help them. This generation, there's some tough things going on in this generation. There's three things that parents says they're concerned about. Through the Pew Foundation, they did a recent survey with parents. They said there are three things that parents are concerned about. Number one is mental illness, anxiety, depression, stress that's on this generation. Nothing like we saw back when I grew up in the 60s and 70s. There was some stress, but not the stress we see now. So what are you going to do as a parent or grandparent to be able to help your child get focused on that? Number two is talks about financial opportunities, where they have the financial ability to be able to get a home, to do some things. What are you going to do to help your child get the right career choice? I've got courses at Focus Life Institute to help you. But here I'm talking today about what you can do to sit down with them and talk about what are their interests. Where's their personality mirror up with something? I'm a people person. Guess what? I had great administrators when I managed my Coca-Cola company because I wasn't a good one. I forced myself. I could do the job. There's more stress doing that than creativity when there's a hand-to-glove fit. But I tell you what, there's opportunity for you to help them. And the third thing is that they want to have job satisfaction. Is their hand a glove fit? Was the personality matches that personality style, matches that job? And that's what we do at the Focus Life Institute. I've created a course that you can take a look at, student preparation program. It's out there. You can see it at focuslifeinstitute.com. But my main concern right now is you spending that time, that love, and that commitment with your children and grandchildren. Before you know it, there was an old song we used to sing back in the 60s, Cats in the Cradle. Before you know it, those kids are going to be growing up and out. And did you do what you were called to do? But were you consumed so much with all the distractions? Were you consumed with all the extracurricular activities? Were you consumed of not spending time in God's presence, first of all, getting God's word into you each and every day with intimacy, a presence-driven life, not a purpose-driven life? You can get purpose, but you got to get presence first. You got to make sure you have the intimacy with God, which I do every day. Spend time in my Father's presence, getting the word of the Lord, and spending time and be sensitive to my children and grandchildren, knowing what to say, how to say it, and love them, and spend that time and commitment. This is Dr. Ed Two Rose. I hope you gleaned something from today. We'll see you next time on this opportunity speaking with you. And again, remember, your focus, it does determine your future.